Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming, and it's been several weeks. I've been storing up extra stuff that I want to show you guys, kind of like in an old bought cards by mail style type thing. Some of these things I bought, some of them I traded for, some of them, it's kind of like I bought in as the business, where some of it is just like stuff that I'm buying for myself, as you'll see. I've even opened a few things. Also, I'm going to answer a few questions about the shorts you guys have been seeing, some eBay live stuff. Because I have been getting some comments on that. But let me go ahead and just start jumping into some of these things that I have. So there was one collection that I picked up from, if you guys remember, from the Worm Gang, Martial Law, Dakota, Pokedak, those guys. And so they sold a few cards to me. We've got right here this Neo Discovery Tyranitar. But if you've seen the shorts, that's not actually me editing those. These are all already things that you guys have seen on the long videos. But my brother's working with a media company and they wanted some shorts to work on. I said, you know what? They sent me like a free sample, and typically, I get that kind of stuff through the mail quite often. But I was like, yeah, that looks pretty good. If you guys want to work this kind of stuff, I trust him. And so I started sending him a few videos and was telling him, if you can make a short out of this, kind of focus on this card, that'd be great. And so they're going to just put out that content as long as, it's looking good anyways. And that'll just be kind of like extra stuff. But it's not me editing any of those things. This is the sealed pack from the UPC. But yeah, this is a pretty cool purchase. Got the Japanese pack. Who knows? Maybe there's a Pikachu in there. It's kind of weird to want, the common Pikachu over something like a hollow Poliwrath. Because the Pikachu, it's like about $4,000, $5,000, something like that. Or it was. Maybe it's come down a little bit. All right. Next up, I just actually bought this yesterday. So I'm going to show you guys some of the highlights, but this was a collection from Pokemonster LLC. He had gotten in some really cool Pop Series promos, like old cards, and some WOTC promos. And so some of this stuff he just sent my way, and he said, hey, give me a quote, on this. And we were able to come to terms on a lot of it. And some of the stuff, it made a whole lot more sense for him to sell, especially some of the lower end items were like the birthday Pikachus, which are pretty high end. But for me, like, there's a lot more competition on eBay, but something like that could sell really well in person. So you're looking at this promo, you're probably wondering, what is this? So if you haven't seen it before, this is the Celebi. It's going to be one of the first e-readers. See it right there. It's the first e-reader promo. The first, because you had Snorlax number 49, and then it jumped into Celebi, which was number 50. And then after that, you had the Scantastic promos, or the Pokemon Center New York promos for Rapidash and Ho-Oh. And then Suicune number 53 finished out. So we had 4 e-reader promos, at least unique artworks. There were some variations for some of the cards. All right, next up, check this out. Had a stack of cool Porygons. And so this is kind of where hopefully there's some potential, because a lot of these cards they're just like light play. Even if they were more considered near mint, they might have a white corner here or there. And PSA is already really tough, even on the sealed packs that I have for these promos. But with these cool Porygons, I might have some shots in here at PSA 10s. But you can see, there was a pretty good stack of them. Some have nice swirls. Then we've got right here, check this out. He actually had 3 of these. I picked one up in the shop for $800, and I was thinking it was for $250, and so I had flopped that in a Daily Bird, or $225. I think it was $250, and then I was offering $225. So we had to do some price corrections here, because I had made an offer of $225 and $225, thinking I had bought the other one for $250, but it actually, I think he had him priced at $1,000, and he made a deal with me for $800 a piece. But so I got 2 more of these, 3 total. Love these best of game cards. These winter reverse foils. These were the very first reverse hollows. You had Legendary Collection with the Firework reverse hollow, and then you had the reverse hollows that come with Expedition, Aquapolis, and a Skyridge, but these were like the first Cosmos reverse hollows. You saw them with the Entei number 34, the Pichu number 35. Then you had them with the best of game promos, and so they look really cool. And you also had them with the energies, the league energies, but they're pretty tough to get in 10s. Next up, they had some potential with cards like this. So you got some Mews. Like these are it's the Lily Pad Mew, but it's a rock. So you guys have probably heard me say that before, but the name has probably lost a little bit of its luster at this point. But paid up on these a bit more than some of the others, because I do think that there are some potential 10s here in this Mew number 47. And so who knows? Hopefully, we can get there. And if not, it's still a pretty nice card. There were a lot of Pop Series cards. No EXs or Gold Stars or anything like that, but still cool stuff like this Ditto. A lot of the older series, let's see if I can, you can't really see it here, but a lot of the older series have like this smearing issue like with the surface, but usually when they have that, the backside is pretty good. Like they don't have the extra whitening that you find on later Pop Series sets, which to me that's tougher to work with. But yeah, some of these looked really clean, but a lot of them also had, like, you can kind of see right here where it's almost like these are bent in the middle. These were pretty good, but some of them, it was significant enough to where it did cause damage. Now here was the highlight of the collection. So check this out. Looks like a regular Pichu, right? Looks like a regular Hapip, but these actually have the Japanese back. They come from an E3 pack. Got the Kirby card, got the Manhole Mr. Game & Watch, and then you got 2 Pokemon cards, but they had Japanese backs. Now there was another sample pack he had the cards from there where you have the Machop, Machoke, Machamp, but those have regular backs, so they're not significantly more expensive, whereas these can be. Unfortunately, the Pichu did have a little crease here. I think we can see it better. Oh yeah, you can see it better from this side. You can kind of see where there was a crease on that corner. So I do think that's going to hurt the value, take away the condition possibilities. All right, next up, now this is really cool too. A creator pack. I had opened up one of these not too long ago. I don't think that we have any 10 examples here. The Pikachu, I want to say, is probably going to cap at like an 8. It's got a couple white dots as well as it's a little OC, but it's not too bad. The Mudkip, and I want to say the Trico, I think the centering was the worst issue, maybe a white dot. Yeah, this one had a couple white dots. The Mudkip did look pretty good. I think this one might have a shot at a 9. It's not perfectly centered, but centered enough to get that 9. And then, I don't know, you might be able to see from the camera. Sometimes it's hard to see. There is a little bit of whitening around the edge, but nothing major. So I think this one has a good shot at a 9. Either way, these are pretty hot right now. So hopefully they don't go down too much, but they're pretty exclusive. They're WB cards. There's 5. They only come from the creator pack, and they've got these artworks that are unique. So that they got a lot going for them. Just sometimes people don't know what they are. But yeah, so that was Pokemonster LLC. If you're ever in North Carolina and you're near like between Charlotte and the Hickory area, man, he's got a awesome shop. All kinds of cool stuff there, wall to wall. Yeah, definitely really neat. Here's some stuff I've been working on buying myself. Got a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Been buying some more Volcanions. I'm trying to get like my favorite artworks. They're still really cheap, which is good. Kind of good for me. I thought I had another stack of a few cards to show you guys. I must have left them in there, but I did buy a few more Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. STF Gaming, he keeps supplying me with stuff. This I got in on a trade-in. So we have a Dark Dragonair Reverse Hollow. Never would have thought, these would be so expensive now. I mean, they used to be just like garbage. Here we have, what is this, Italian or Portuguese? It's not French because that says tail, but yeah, it's either Spanish or Italian, I think. But we have a Jolteon here. Looks pretty nice, but probably not the 10. Got a Reverse Hollow Crystal Charizard. Just seeing these take off has been kind of cool and interesting to watch. But also with that was a trade-in, but this was a collection that I bought. And so I thought this was really cool. So it's the Spectra foil on the front. Spectra Tech, whatever you want to call it. And on the back side, you've got the regular Cosmos. And so these are some of the highest grades that you could get. You guys know I have an uncut sheet. I didn't cut up my sheet. I still have that. This sheet was cut up, and you can kind of see it shows the position, where it came from. It's kind of cool. Like you can line up the certs and see that all of these are pretty much in line. There was a few that were out of order, but for the most part, I think one of the lines might have got transposed into another area. Yeah, really cool stuff. And I was able to obtain a full set. So like there's Dark Blastoise with Here Comes Team Rocket. Got Dark Charizard, Dark Gyarados. And, some of these have other cards that are cooler on the back. Like you got a Dark Blastoise on the back side there with the Dark Doug Trio on the front. And that was one of the highest grades. I know 5.5, right? Got the Dark Arbok, Dark Gyarados. Look, that one has a Dark Charizard on the back side, but cool Dark Magneton. Got Dark Raichu on the back. I'm not a big fan of like the dark Weezings, but I wonder if that goes back to like Team Rocket or something, or maybe they just didn't give it any really cool card in WOTC era. There's another dark Charizard. There's a dark Blastoise. Then we're going to finish with the dark Raichu. Dark Raichu, one of my favorite cards of all time. So that was a cool purchase. While that guy was here, here's the Delibird and Electabuzz I was talking about. So there's the third one. And then you can see right there, there's picked up, I want to say that was probably the 250 or whatever it was, or 225. So bought one. So I opened one of these. I took the gamble. And so if you've never opened up one of these Southern Island binders, you know, they got this seal on the outside, and then when you open it up, you open up to a binder that looks like this. Really cool looking binder, by the way. It's got what the postcards show on them. Same thing on this side. These are actually the artworks themselves. It tells you sky, riverside, field of flowers. On the Japanese side, there was 6 different ones. But yeah, you get some sleeves, some 3x3 9-pocket pages. You get this Hey Trainers insert. You also get the postcards, which I still have sealed. And then you can see right here, got a little thing from WOTC. But yeah, these are postcards. Beautiful looking postcards. But then you also get a sealed pack of all of the Southern Island cards. And so right here, I've got some of them. Some of them we're going to grade. These were less likely to be gradable. Of course, the non-hollows really weren't that gradable, but they're kind of like the big cards. But it's beautiful artworks. They're all cameos, and they connect together. But you also get 3 booster packs. So I got Unlimited Neo Discovery, 2 of those, and then 1 Neo Genesis. So these are like Southern Islands box fresh, which is kind of cool. So I know that they're unweighed. But that was a fun experience. I did pick up another collection recently. I'm going to just show you guys a few cards out of it. It was like $1,100 or so, but somebody sent me a collection. Like, hey, is any of this worth anything? And, you know, you don't see the Destiny Deoxys very often. It's not too rare. You know, it had a nice Shining in it. Shining Noctowl was the Shining I pulled from a pack when I was a kid. I remember where I was, got the pack from Walmart. We were getting ready to get onto the interstate, popped it open. I'm like, 3 stars. Like, that blew my mind. And then, of course, a really cool looking Butterfree. None of these are gradable. I'm going to stick them in a binder because I think their artworks are really cool. But I love picking up raw collections. They're not always the most lucrative, but they are a lot of fun. And then last but not least, right here, we've got 3 Japanese Neo Destiny booster packs. Took a little bit of a gamble on these. Looks like prices have, I mean, they've just went up so high. But the Shinings from this set, super expensive. You know, I think I sold my Shining Charizard a little early. That card has propelled itself into the 6 figures. But really cool to still see these out there. And so, not sure what I'm going to do with these yet. Who knows? Maybe we'll open them. I doubt it. There's a lot of value that can be lost with that. But before I go, I did want to mention, for those of you who are wondering, they're about reprints. Yeah. That's Destined Rivals. So Destined Rivals I don't think it's actually a reprint. I think it was just a restock, or Pokemon found some pallets or something, because all of these have the original date on it. And I don't typically, if it's a reprint, Pokemon will print a new label and they won't have the original release date, or there'll be something different on the label itself that doesn't match up exactly with the original released cases. And I still have 20 original cases from release. I got them prior to the release that I have set back in my personal collection, and these are identical. And then these say not for retail sale before May 30th, 2025, and everything else is kind of there. And the only thing that makes me think that they might be, you know, just they just printed the label again and it's a reprint, is that the labels look really nice. They're dark, and the ones that I have kind of faded a little bit, whereas these haven't. So could be either way. I don't know for sure that it is a reprint, but my hunch is that this is just a small restock, and prices were quite high. I mean, it was over 3 times what I paid for the original round when I bought them before, you know, through pre-allocated, you know, amounts, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I didn't get to choose how much. I was just told, hey, we have this offer. Do you want to buy some? I wasn't told, hey, this is a reprint, but based off of what I'm looking at, the prices, how the cases look, and the labels on the outside, I think this is just a restock. maybe they found cases somewhere, or maybe distributors just decided, hey, we all have this amount set back, so maybe we're going to release some now. I don't know how that works. I'm not in the know for like the inner workings of that kind of thing, but I was happy to get some more Destin Rivals, and I assume the market was as well, because it definitely has pushed the prices down some on both those and the Elite Trainers. Still good prices, but this might be the last time we see a restock like this, because I mean, there's so much other stuff that could be pushed. So who knows, right? Either way, I was happy to get more. I think Destin Rivals is a great set. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you're seeing the shorts, those are coming through as extras. Whether or not I do videos, we'll just have to see. I'm going to be at Collecticon this Saturday, if you guys are going to be there. Also, if you see any eBay lives, that is from Justin Pokemon Wonder. If you guys know him and his website, he's actually got a link down in the description. Also, PokeChef. He's working on those as well. So we're going to see if it works. They're going to start doing lives through my eBay store. So if you guys want to see some cool stuff, I might give some stuff to them as well to sell through their lives. I hope it's successful. And yeah, we're just going to see how it works. So if you see that and you don't see my face on there, that's why they're transitioning to see if this is going to work for them. And so I think they're going to give a 6 to 8 week window, see if it works. And if it does, it might be a permanent thing where they do lives quite often, but you can get some good deals on there. A lot of this stuff is, really quick. And then of course with eBay, you actually have protection. So that's really nice. But anyways, again, thanks guys for watching the video. Sorry, it's been a while since I've put out a full video like this, but I hope you enjoyed it. And please give me any feedback that you can. If you see these shorts, let me know what we can change, what we can tweak, and I'll pass that along to my brother. Thanks.